Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian, the only podcast where liberty gets the love it deserves and government overreach gets roasted like a fat, pimply faced TSA agent with a God complex. Today's episode, the Fourth Amendment. You know, the one that says, hey, government, keep your grubby little hands off my stuff unless you got a damn good reason and a warrant. We're diving into what it really means, how the government keeps trying to wiggle out of it, and why libertarians treat it like the last slice of constitutional pizza. There are four other amendments I believe are equally as important as this, but let's start with what the Fourth Amendment actually is and what it actually says. And here's the Fourth Amendment in some old school parchment lingo. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures. Let me read that for you again. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In modern speak, the government needs a warrant with a good reason, no snooping through your drawers because someone at the DMV thinks you look suspicious. Libertarians love this. Why, you might ask? Because it sets boundaries. You know, like how you have toxic people in your life and you have to set boundaries with them? Government is a toxic person in this relationship. You just don't get to turn the whole country into a new reality show called Cops, Constitutional Violations Edition. But what counts as unreasonable, you may ask? That's the legal equivalent of it's complicated. Courts have carved out enough exceptions to make Swiss cheese jealous. Now, we're not in the old parchment days, we're in the digital age, which means there are digital rights. Let's talk about your phones. I have a passcode on mine. I can't be forced to give up that passcode. The phones have your email, text, location, embarrassing playlists, basically your whole life. And yet the government thinks they should get free backstage access. That's why you have end-to-end encryption. Ever heard of warrantless surveillance? The NSA sure has, and they do it. Libertarians say if it needed a warrant in 1791, it needs one now. That includes tracking your car with GPS, reading your emails, or grabbing your phone data just in case. Oh, and let's not forget civil asset forfeiture. That's where they take your stuff without charging you with anything. It's like legalized robbery, but with more paperwork.
Whoa. Yeah. We think your calendar is suspicious.
And you have to prove that it wasn't illegally acquired. Supreme Court smackdowns and big time fails. Now let's break down some Supreme Court hits and misses on the Fourth Amendment. Katz v. United States. Long story short, guy uses cell phone booth. FBI listens in. Court says privacy doesn't end when you leave your house. Libertarians rejoice. The NSA was crying in the car. Terry v. Ohio, 1968. The long and the short on this case is cop pats a guy down without probable cause. Court says it's fine. Libertarians collectively shouted, "Are you kidding me?" Because cops do have a right to at least pat you down to make sure there's no weapons on you. United States v. Jones in the 21st century, 2012. FBI puts a GPS on a guy's car without a warrant. Big surprise there. Court slaps their hands. Libertarians throw confetti and celebrate because that's a win. Carpenter v. United States, 2018. Cops take months of cell location data without a warrant. Court says no. Libertarians scream, "Finally!" but quietly mutter, "That's not far enough." Riley v. California. Police search a guy's smartphone during arrest. No warrant. Court says phones aren't any different. Libertarians raise a toast to common sense. You need a warrant for phones as well. Unless you have facial recognition, then they can just hold the phone up and unlock your phone. That's why I have passcodes. Kylo v. United States 2001. Long of the short of this case is cops use thermal imaging to peek inside a house. Court says creepy tech needs a warrant. Libertarians, your house is your castle, and the thermal imaging drone was not invited in. Modern implications and libertarian red flags. Here's the big takeaway. The Fourth Amendment is supposed to be a wall, not a revolving door. But every time the government says these three phrases, national security, or border search, or public safety, the courts give them another loophole because any of the above three, or pick another reason. Tech makes this worse. Phones, smart devices, facial recognition, AI. It's like the government's building a digital panopticon and telling you it's for your own good. A panopticon is basically one big room in the middle, raised up, and all the cells are visible to that one room. Libertarians say, hell no. No knock warrant for minor offense? That's not law enforcement. That's live action Call of Duty.
Police, open up!
We have a warrant.
What is going on?
Now, what can you do about this as a libertarian, someone who enjoys freedom and enjoys being secure in their personal effects? If the Fourth Amendment were a person, it would be your paranoid friend who blocks everything, but you thank them later. So here's what you can do. Here's your call to action. Here's how you can become better educated so when you interact with police or the government, you know your rights first and foremost. Question authority, especially the well-dressed kind with government ID, from the FBI, NSA, CPS, any of the PDs. Just make sure you always question them. Demand warrants like your freedom depends on it, because, spoiler alert, it does. Make sure they have a warrant and they see it and they present it to you. One more info, how to become better informed about this? Hit up places like the Constitution Center or the Cato Institute, or just keep listening here. We do the heavy lifting so you don't have to read 500 pages of court opinions that are very academically dense. Now, if this episode made you laugh and fear the surveillance state, give us a follow, a subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, and tell your friends. Don't be smarter than a libertarian, be one. I'll catch you all next time. Until then, stay free, stay informed, stay accountable, and off government watch lists if you can.